Hey guys, and welcome back to our adventures in Minecraft. As always, I'm DemonFire93, and just like last episode, I have to start things off before we get on with the episode by saying, spoiler alert! I'm finally going to be talking about the Life is Strange finale, as well as touching a little bit more on some of the topics from last episode, which include the Walking Dead Season 1 of the Telltale game, as well as the Game of Thrones, as far as I've played, into Episode 2 at the moment, of that series. So if you do not want any of those three games in any way, shape, or form spoiled, then I suggest that you do this. You go up to the upper right over here. I don't know if my mouse shows up on screen. It probably doesn't. And you click the little X. Or, you know, if you've got it in one tab, you go up to the tab and you click X and you X out of it until you feel that you want those, or you've seen what happens and you are fine with listening to what I have to say about it. I understand. I'm giving you the time to get away now. So, you have 5 more seconds here from the moment that I start counting down. And then I start spoiling things. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so let's go with Life is Strange. But before we actually do that, there is one last thing that I wanted to bring up from last episode, which was with The Walking Dead and Life is Strange. And the interesting thing is that, I still haven't played The Walking Dead Season 2. And they talked about Life is Strange Season 2, but said that if they made it, that it would have a completely different cast. And I thought about that, and I said I probably wouldn't actually play Season 2 of Life is Strange. Now, the reason for that, I had to think about it. I was like, why? This is such a fantastic game. Why wouldn't I play it? Well, so was The Walking Dead. It was a fantastic game. The Telltale game. But, the reason that I didn't want to play, I don't want to play Season 2, even though I did buy it for the Xbox 360, and I have it, and I could play it at any point in time, at all, is because of the characters. Season 1 was all about Lee and keeping Clementine safe, and so you got attached to Lee and Clementine, and you went through the world as those two. Everybody else that you met along the way died off as you went, but, or they died off, or they got lost along the way. The only two that were left at the end was Clem and Lee, and those are the two that you cared about, really. So, or at least those are the two that I cared about, and I was like, wow, you killed off Lee. That just leaves Clem in Season 2, but the whole thing was that I got so attached to being Lee and being this father figure to Clementine. It was just like, I don't want to see what Clem has to deal with by herself. That's really gonna be bad for me mentally. So, I don't know. I've debated on it. I might play it, but I won't play it for the channel. That's for sure, because I didn't play Season 1 for the channel. But, yeah, that's the same with Life is Strange, because they would be bringing a completely different cast and probably a completely different location and set of characters, and maybe even, I don't know, what would a Season 2 of Life is Strange entail? Would they be having somebody else have time travel powers? Or would they have somebody else have something completely different than it's just kind of another game where you make decisions, but from Square Enix and Dontnod instead of from Telltale Games? It's interesting, but yeah, I was in the fetal position bawling by the end of Life is Strange. For any of you guys who watched it, you guys all know Yes, I chose what I call to be the better of the two endings because I'm sorry, I love that game to death. And as many of you who listen to me in all of my different platforms of talking know, I started playing Life is Strange because someone who I watch on YouTube, Deadbones, was playing it. And if I had not watched him play it and seen how good it could be, I would not have played it for myself, and I'm so grateful that I got to play it then because of that. And so I had to watch Deadbones' playthrough, and he chose the opposite of what I did, which was to sacrifice Arcadia Bay instead of Chloe, which I'm usually not one, well, I'm usually one to, you know, say I told you so when I told you so. So, I told you people so. You guys who were yelling in my theory videos saying that they're not going to do that. They're not going to have you choose to kill Chloe. What did they have us do? Oh, that's right. They had us choose to kill Chloe or destroy all of Arcadia Bay. And I really did like Deadbones' speech for it when he was sitting there for 5 minutes at that decision page. He's like, okay, so do I do the right thing, the morally right thing, or do I do what I want to do? Do I do what most people would do, or do I do what I want to do? And it's like, yeah, I mean, I would want Chloe alive too, but I'm really not wanting to sacrifice an entire town for her. I mean, Deadbones was sitting there going, it's only like a couple hundred people. Try a couple thousand. Arcadia Bay's not that small, Deadbones. It's a couple thousand. For it to be that big and flourishing and have a private academy thing and such. Yeah, it's not small. So yes, the ending that Deadbones got was rather short and lackluster. I mean, yeah, both endings, no matter what you choose, are going to be emotional. But the one that I got was just more emotional. Because I watched his ending, and I didn't shed a single tear. Because he was right. We only really care about Max and Chloe. Yeah, we sit there and we say we care about all the other characters that played along throughout the series, and we did. But just not as much as Max and Chloe. And so when Max and Chloe are fine at the end of his playthrough, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Everybody else is dead. That's depressing. But it's not new music with a touching song. It's Sid Meier's Obstacles again, and it's not so emotional as the other one. I felt like they almost just kinda crapped out on that other ending, and were like, everybody's gonna pick the ending where you kill Chloe. And so, like, and for those who don't, we're not going to give them a good ending. I mean, neither ending is necessarily good. You can't have, there's no good ending and bad ending. But in the way of quality, there is a good ending and a bad ending, in my opinion. And the good ending is you sacrifice Chloe because you get this complete scene afterwards instead of just a, yeah, you know, you and Chloe drive off and you're done. I mean, it just was so much shorter than my version. It's like, holy cow. But, oh my god. That was not an easy decision. Like, some people are going to think that, oh, well, I was the one predicting it, and the only reason I chose to kill Chloe was because of the fact that I wanted to prove that I was right, that you had to kill her. It's like, no. I didn't want to be right about that. I just felt that that was where the game was going, and when that decision came up, I was sitting there going, oh shit, you've gotta be fucking kidding me. Oh, God. And I almost couldn't do it. I almost just left the game right there and was gonna not make a decision. But I don't want to be a pessimist, but I kinda have to be in this instance, because Dead Bones was being all optimistic and saying that people could be alive. I want to take a moment and discuss the people who are most definitely dead in his version of playing Life is Strange. So, in Dead Bones' version, Max and Chloe go to the lighthouse for shelter, and therefore that entire scene where we're walking through the bay area as Max saving people, that doesn't happen. So Max doesn't have the ability to save people, but the tornado still happens. So we can assume that the trucker is still underneath that truck part, that Alyssa is still stuck in that house. We can assume that Evan will still get hit in the head by that piece of sheet metal and more than likely die from that. We can assume that the fisherman will be still trapped within the shop, but I mean, we didn't turn on the electricity, so he'll be alive at least, unless, you know, the tornado hits that building, or, hey, the fire from that building spreads and engulfs him because he's not moving and not listening to anybody. So, you know, you can assume those characters are all dead. I don't like to think about this way, but I have to make that version of the game emotional, make people feel something, that decision was not better than the other, because you still lost lives no matter what you did. So then we have the next part of that scene, which is the diner characters. So without Max being there to, you know, pour sand where she did, the diner explodes and everyone inside is guaranteed to be dead. So that means Warren, that means Frank, that means poor millionaire wanting man, the man who I believe was in episode 2. He's just in there going, "Yep, nobody better steal my lottery ticket. I'm gonna be a millionaire. Yep, nobody better take my ticket." He was amazing, but he died, and so did Joyce, and because Frank died, so did Pompidou. And what did Pompidou ever do to deserve that? So, there you go. Those are the characters that died in Life is Strange, in the universe where Max decides to sacrifice Arcadia Bay. Almost a near guarantee that they all died. Like I said, the ones that were outside of the diner, it's possible they lived. Really, it is. But realistically, the tornado came through there and decimated that entire area, and so none of them made it. Because in the end credits, it says you decided to save that person or you didn't. You saved them or you couldn't save them, which means that they lived or they died. Now, some people will argue, but how is that possible that they're alive in your version? Well, because in my version, I went back in time to before the tornado even happens. That's what happens. You go back to the photo of the butterfly, and poof! Tornado doesn't happen anymore. So now, none of those people will, you know, have to even deal with that situation of nearly dying. So there. But that is the Life is Strange talk. I've been wanting to talk about that for a while. I have to say, I hate Jefferson with a passion, but if I ever were to meet the voice actor who did that, I would have to shake his hand and, like, adore the man for that the work that he did with Mr. Jefferson, because all craziness of the character aside, that man is a fantastic voice actor. I was terrified at times of Mr. Jefferson during episode 5 and how he acted. Holy shit. He plays a psychopath very well. And of course we have the lag again, as we always do in these types of situations. I'm running around between 20 and 30 frames. Really wish that it would stop doing that and would just, you know, hang out at 60 frames. If you're wondering what I'm doing right now, it's watching the sword and the frames, trying to see if it'll go up to at least 40. It won't do it. It's like, oh, there's 41. Oh, nope, nope, back down. Oh, there's 48. Okay, now we're at 59, 60, good. Okay, we're good, we're back. Alright. So, yeah, the game was amazing. And holy shit, I mean, if you guys are watching this, you already know that, because either that or you don't care that I'm spoiling it for you, and so you don't know, but most of you know that it's amazing, the game and everything, and it's, like I said last episode, it's one of the few games that you can kind of throw the illusion of choice a bit to the wayside and deal with just the fact of the emotions of the characters that you're gonna get from them and everything, and holy cow. Oh, it was rough. I almost wanted the following day to just crawl into bed and not leave. I had to go to work though, but I didn't want to. I didn't shave, I didn't do anything. It's like, I'm gonna go to work. I guess I have to. And people are like, you look like shit. I'm like, yeah, I had an emotional night, okay? Fuck you. Didn't actually say that, but you know, I was thinking it. So, but let's talk Game of Thrones next, since we got a little bit of time left. So I'm not sure what's going on with my resolution in those videos. I currently have all of episode 1 and episode 2 recorded, and actually right after this I'm going to start recording episode 3. I can't spoil anything for episode 2 because it hasn't come out yet, so I can't expect you guys, or all of it, I guess I should say, so I can't expect you guys to know what I'm talking about, and so I don't want to spoil episode 2 at all. But I've released episode 1, and like I said, I gave you the spoiler warning, so that was all that was needed for that. We're gonna talk into episode 1 a little bit. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what's up with the resolution. I'm gonna try and fiddle with it into episode 3 after this to see if I can figure out how to get it to be a full screen, because right now, let's see if I can, nope, can't really do it. Because my cursor is invisible right now, I believe. So if I take the item though, so the full screen is all the way when I'm doing recording, right? So this is the full screen, all corners, here, 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 and here. But when the Game of Thrones, when I leave the game and I click on the video and start editing it, it's like here, 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 and here. It's a little bit more than that, but it's pretty much that. At first, it starts like here, 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 and here, with the sides cut off. But then once you get into the game, it cuts this part off, everything above this line here, and everything below this line. And I have to fiddle with that because that's frustrating to people I know. It's just like, why is it so small? There's so much black space. And I gotta work at it. I tried messing with the resolution before starting up episode 2, but it didn't help any. But yeah, episode 1, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is the one exception to the story games that I'm talking about that I would play a season 2 if they come out with it. Because I don't know if I think it's just the fact that Game of Thrones, I haven't actually gotten attached to any of the characters so far yet. I mean, I feel bad for some of them and I feel for them. I was definitely sad when Ethan died at the end of episode 1. But, you know, I'm not that emotionally invested in them because they killed him off in the first episode. If they had killed him off at the end, I would be like, God damn it, I've played as this guy all fucking season, and I've felt his pains, and I've felt his joys, and they just killed him off. It didn't happen that way, so I'm not really that emotionally attached to him yet. And I feel like that's the way that Game of Thrones does things anyways, sort of. Like, anybody can die at any time. I mean, The Walking Dead does that too. But that was just emotionally draining with The Walking Dead to where I didn't want to do a season 2. But, you know, I would definitely do a Game of Thrones season 2. Yeah, let's bring it on. But, yes, episode 1. I've gotten some messages telling me that I could not save Ethan. There was no way. And I understand that. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. I mean, I was sad about it. And I was like, God damn it, I screwed up. I really wish that I may have chosen something different to maybe save him. And then it's like, yeah, there was nothing that you could have done. I'm like, well, okay, thanks for spoiling it a little bit for me. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm not mad about it. I was just like, well, now I know that that's just one of the story points. That's one of the points that has to happen, and every game's got that. It's like, yes, we have a point in the game where this character dies because he needs to die for the story to progress where we want it to take it, and I understand that, and so I'm fine with the fact that I have no way of saving him. So, and they did a really good job because I felt like I could save him. I was just like, no. There had to been another option of doing something earlier on in the game, maybe, that would have gotten me to save Ethan. And nope, there's just no way. So, I don't think we're ever gonna... Hey, you son of a bitch. Okay, we're going to just say fuck all of you right now. Because I got a slowness potion. And then a poison potion, but poison potion didn't last long enough. Haha. I don't know where or when we're ever gonna find this goddamn Mega Taiga. I've been trying to head back out to 10,000 blocks because that's where we were before, and somehow I got back into the 10,000 blocks, but I need to stay outside of it and check some of the outer areas, so we'll head out that way. But I believe that's all the time that we have for today, guys. As always, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm DemonFire93, and I'll see you guys next time.